one of my questions for you, like piggybacking off that, is like expectations. Like high school kids in general, what does that ride look like that you are trying to pursue? Because a lot of
Hmm.
athletes that I work with in particular have, right, they send me their list of schools that they have, and they found out that, oh, to use the men's rowing side as an example, like, oh, Washington has rowing, I'm going to apply there, right? Cal has rowing, I'm going to apply there, but they haven't even broken 7 minutes, or they're a 640 erg even, right? Like, there's levels, and I think the question that you have to ask yourself as an athlete is, what do I want my ride to look like? Because if I'm a 640 erg and I'm trying to go to an Ivy League program where the standard for their freshman class is 615, 620, I don't know, I'm just making that up. Maybe it is, maybe
Yeah.
it isn't. But that ride is going to look very different. Do I want to be someone who starts at the bottom, has to work my way up, if there's even space on the roster for me? Or am I just setting myself up for the unfortunate result where, okay, I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I found out that this is not
Hmm.
what I want to pursue. And now, rather than being a 4-year contributor, I'm actually a 1-year recruit and I'm done with rowing. Anyway,
Yep.
I just ranted there for a little bit, but hopefully that makes sense
Yeah.
as I can normally do. But we're officially kicking things off. But tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that, those different tiers within rowing.
Yeah. So when I'm talking to recruits, there's always a couple questions that I like to ask that kind of give me an idea of what their expectation in their journey is going to be. Um, One, I really like to ask like something that can get them talking about training. I want to hear how they approach training, what they think about training, because I think for me, for Division 1 rowing and for the goals that we have for our program, we need athletes who love the training. You have to love it. We spend too much time doing it. Um, and I find when you don't love it, that's where it becomes this tedious thing you have to go and do every day. And you're really not happy and you're not progressing because it's not enjoyable to go through the process. And then, second to that, I get a lot of athletes that will ask me, what's your team's average 2K? Or like, what's the average 2K of the 1V at your school? And what I always want to know is, are you asking this from a place of, I want to know if this place is going to challenge me enough? Or are you asking from a place of, I want to make sure I can come here and not have to work very hard? Like I want you to come to me rather than me come to you, kind of thing. And then the last thing I love to ask is like, do you see yourself as a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? Because that can give me insight into, okay, is this person okay coming in knowing you're going to have to work your way up? You are not going to be the fastest person on this team when you walk in the door, and you're going to have to work your butt off. But I think based off of like your character traits and everything else, you could do it. But do you want to do that? Do you see that as part of your journey? Because sometimes athletes are like, well, I want to be a big fish in a small pond. I know what their erg score is, and I'm like, you're not going to be a big fish in a small pond here. You're going to have to work your way up. So how do we like align those two visions? Because if they don't line up, both of us are going to not have a very good experience, because you're probably going to be frustrated with where you are, thinking that you deserve more. And I'm going to be frustrated because you're probably going to be complaining, about where you are and how you think you deserve more. Um, but to give you a great example, we have a freshman this year who, um, coming out of high school, she was just under 8 minutes. I liked her a lot. I met her at club nationals. We had some really great conversations, and I thought she would fit in really well here as a person. And I remember Kemp and I having like the honest conversation with her before we offered to her that, like, you're not going to come in as one of the fastest athletes on the team. You're going to have to work your way up. And that was something that she later on, after she had committed to come here, was like, I really appreciated that you were honest with me about where I'm going to be. Um, because why, the whole point of this is like you said, you need to understand what the path is going to be. So I'm not going to lie about what the path is going to be for you. So you also have to be honest with me about what kind of path do you want to walk. And if you want to walk a path of, I don't want to have to try very hard and I want the level to come down to me, this is probably not the place for you.